I was once the most undisciplined person I knew. I would binge watch shows on Netflix till 2 a.m. I would start my mornings by scrolling. I was eating fast food all day. And to make things worse, I sucked at academics. I remember failing 3 subjects in high school and feeling absolutely gutted. My lack of discipline had a deeply negative impact on my self-image. For years I thought I was such a loser, I could do nothing right, I always break promises to myself, and this negative self-image made me quite socially awkward. I couldn't make eye contact with people because deep down I felt so guilty about not living up to my full potential, and I developed all these people-pleasing tendencies because in my eyes I was such a loser, so I made it my life's mission to get other people's validation. But that isn't who I am anymore. I'm genuinely the most productive and disciplined version of myself, and this has flipped my self-image around. I no longer feel insecure, I instead feel quite confident. I also don't think that I'm a good-for-nothing loser. I actually feel that with the help of God, I could do almost anything that I set my mind to. I no longer have people-pleasing tendencies or social awkwardness because I now finally have something that I'd never had before: self-respect. But the brutal truth is, you cannot respect yourself without building self-discipline. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to do just that. There was one mistake that I kept making over and over again. Whenever I wanted to change my life, I did what most people do. I relied on motivation. I would watch those highly motivating Instagram edits, put on intense music, and convince myself that this time was going to be different. And for a few days, it actually worked. I would wake up early, go to the gym, read books, and work on my business. For 2 or 3 days, I genuinely became the person that I wanted to be. But then that excitement faded. I stopped waking up early, skipped one workout, then another, and before I knew it, I was right back where I started. And this cycle didn't just happen once or twice. It happened hundreds, maybe even thousands of times. Eventually, I realized something that completely changed how I approach discipline. I realized that motivation is the problem. It's just temporary. Motivation is an emotion, and like every emotion, it just comes and goes. If your discipline depends on feeling motivated, then it disappears the moment your motivation does. That's why I stopped relying on motivation and started relying on systems instead. A system doesn't ask, do I feel like doing this today? Instead, it makes the right action the default. It removes unnecessary decisions and reduces the amount of willpower you need. Over time, the productive habits stop feeling forced. They simply become part of who you are. Systems create consistency, and consistency is what drives progress. The first system is quite simple. Decide the time and place beforehand. If I'm going to the gym, I already know what time I'm leaving. If I am reading, I know exactly where I'll sit. If I am working, I know when I am starting. Every decision you delay becomes another opportunity to procrastinate. Instead of asking, should I work out now? The only question becomes, it's 6 p.m, time to go. It sounds small, but removing these tiny decisions saves a huge amount of mental energy and makes consistency much easier. The second system is what I call the 30% rule. Some days you simply won't feel like doing the work, and that's completely normal. But instead of skipping the habit entirely, do it at 30% intensity. If your goal that day was to read 20 pages, read 5. If your goal was to work out for an hour, just go for a 20-minute workout session. If you plan to study for 3 hours, just study for 30 minutes. The goal isn't perfection, it's momentum. Missing one day feels harmless, but that one day can turn into a week, and before you know it, turns into a month. What the 30% rule does is that it preserves momentum. These two systems changed everything for me. And if you apply them for the next 60 days, you'll already be more consistent than most people. Remember the statement, motivation gets you started, but systems keep you going. Before any of these systems started working for me, I had to fix something deeper, my foundation. Even the best productivity system will fail if your body constantly feels exhausted. If you're sleeping at random times, running on 5-6 hours of sleep, waking up without energy, no amount of motivation or planning will save you. At that point, you're not just fighting laziness, you are fighting your own physiology. The same applies to your diet. If you're constantly eating processed food, snacking all day, and relying on sugary drinks, it's no surprise that focus becomes difficult and everything feels hard, because when your body feels bad, your mind follows. To fix this, I follow 2 simple rules for my diet. First, eat real food. If something comes in a shiny packet with a long list of unrecognizable ingredients, I usually avoid it. Instead, I focus on foods humans have eaten for thousands of years. Fruit, meat, eggs, rice, potatoes, honey, dates, and vegetables. Nothing complicated, just simple, whole foods. Secondly, I eat at specific, consistent times. Avoid random snacking throughout the day or constantly shifting your meal schedule. Your body thrives on routine. And when you eat at roughly the same times daily, your energy becomes more stable and predictable. And coming to the topic of sleep, it is one of the most powerful performance enhancing tools, yet most people are completely dismissive of it like it's some old people talk. I keep this simple as well. Go to your bed at the same time every night, even on the weekends. Because your body has an internal clock of its own, and consistently sleeping at the same time makes it much easier to actually fall asleep and wake up refreshed. Secondly, go outside shortly after waking up and expose your eyes to natural daylight. This signals to your brain that the day has begun and helps regulate your sleep cycle. Finally, protect the last hour before your bed. Avoid bright lights or scrolling on your phone or doing anything very stimulating. Give your brain time to slow down and prepare for rest. This foundation might take a week or 2 for your body to adjust, but once your sleep and diet become consistent, everything changes, bro. Everything changes. You'll wake up with more energy, think more clearly, and find it way easier to stay disciplined. You won't need as much willpower because your body will finally be working with you instead of against you. So before chasing any of these fancy productivity hacks, focus on your foundation. Fix your diet, fix your sleep. By this point, you have systems and a solid foundation, but there's one final shift that completely changed my life. I stopped relying on self-control and started living by a personal code of conduct. Because most people don't suddenly lose their discipline overnight. It begins with something small, seemingly harmless decisions. For example, you check your phone before bed and come across something stimulating, and suddenly now your mind is racing. Now you sleep much later than you're used to and you wake up tired. So you skip your workout and procrastinate the entire day. So what now looks like a major failure actually started with one tiny, seemingly harmless choice. The truth is, big failures rarely happen first. It's always the tiny ones first. That's why discipline isn't just about doing the right things. It's about refusing the small actions that slowly derail you from becoming who you want to be. To protect myself from these small failures, I created myself a personal code of conduct. These are a set of non-negotiable rules that I follow day in, day out. For example, I have this one rule that my phone goes on flight mode at least 1 hour before I hit the bed. So no notifications, no messages, nothing that can interfere with my sleep. Another rule I have is that I don't keep most social media apps on my phone. Not because I'm stronger than anyone else, because I know that I'm human. If the temptation itself isn't there, I don't have to waste energy resisting it. Look, your code of conduct doesn't have to look mine. In fact, it really shouldn't. Take time to reflect on your own life and ask yourself, what small mistakes consistently lead to your biggest failures? Maybe it's bringing your phone to bed, or keeping junk food in the house, or surrounding yourself with people who pull you away from your goals. Whatever those triggers are, create rules that eliminate them. At its core, a code of conduct is a written set of standards your future self no longer has to debate. Over time, these small rules evolve into something much bigger. They become the standards you live your life by, and ultimately those standards shape the person that you become. Here's an uncomfortable reality, bro. We live in the 21st century where having processed food all around you is the norm. Having hypersexual content in comics, video games, movies is the norm. Having access to brain rewiring short form content at the age of 12 is the norm. It's almost as if everything around you is trying to destroy you while seducing you with instant comfort. So I just wanted to say that be skeptical of anything that is out there that promises you free pleasure. Because the truth is, there is no such thing as free pleasure. Because all of that free pleasure comes at the cost of future you. And it's almost never worth it. Because you, the person who's watching this video, you literally have the potential to change the world. You have the potential to be a world-class MMA fighter. You have the potential to be a world-class entrepreneur. You have the potential to possibly bring peace between nations. Have ambition, set high goals and standards for yourself. Let them scare you a bit, give you a bit of goosebumps. It's okay. And as always, in case no one has told you this today, I am rooting for you.